The film introduces us to Fernando Araujo, one of the central characters. Fernando seems to live a quiet and honorable life on the surface. He is an artist professionally, and he smokes a lot of joints. He has a girl who hangs out with him, but he seems to be an introverted type of individual who likes to overthink things about life. He seems to be whole and content on the surface to people, but in his inner self, Fernando is not comfortable. He teaches judo at a local dojo, but there is always a void that he cannot escape. He does not feel as if his life is complete, a true mission that would give him a sense of being alive. It is a rainy evening, and dark clouds cover the sky with rain flowing over the city roads. In his way home, Fernando stops for a smoke under a small canopy. He watches the rainwater flow off down the gutters, the mood muted and dismal, as though the city itself were sad. He flicks the joint into a puddle after finishing his smoke. The small stump gets caught in the stream of water and floats away until it disappears down a nearby sewer drain right in front of the Bank of Rio. At that very moment, something unusual stirs in Fernando. A strange curiosity pulls him toward the sewer. He crouches down, staring into the dark tunnel below. As he looks inside, a wild idea suddenly comes to him. Risky, bold, and exciting. In that instant, he imagines robbing the Bank of Rio by digging through the city's sewer system. It's a crazy thought, but it grips him completely. The next morning, fueled by this daring idea, Fernando calls his close friend Sebastian. Sebastian is a civil engineer who knows a lot about buildings and underground structures. Fernando wastes no time sharing his plan to rob the bank by digging a tunnel through the sewers. At first, Sebastian is shocked. The idea sounds dangerous and almost impossible. But Sebastian is also struggling with money, and soon the thought of such a big reward starts to tempt him. Still, being practical, he reminds Fernando they would need heavy tools, vehicles, digging machines, and most importantly, a lot of money to make this plan work. But Fernando refuses to give up. Determined, he reaches out to Debosa, hoping he can help fund the operation.
Así que lo primero que tenés que conseguir es un inversor. Un inversor.
Unfortunately, Debosa is also broke. Though he can't offer money, he gives Fernando a useful tip. He tells him to talk to Mario, a skilled thief known for his experience in burglaries. The story then shifts to show Mario in action. Late at night, while the city sleeps, Mario quietly breaks into an office building. Calm and confident, he cracks open a safe with steady hands, showing his expert skills. For Mario, this is just another simple job, small-time theft, far from the ambitious plan Fernando is about to offer. After departing from the house safely and tactically, Mario is spotted by Fernando, who is sitting in his car, and sends him a voicemail saying he would like to talk to him. However, after walking a few distance, Mario is aware someone is behind him, and he firmly confronts Fernando.
Te pido perdón si en algún momento te molesté.
Fernando calmly told him his name, but he didn't dare to explain what he was up to. Finally, Mario told him to not mess with him, and he quickly went home. At home, he stashed his cash and opened his answering machine. Turns out, Fernando was not stalking him at all, and he was giving him a meeting time and date. The next day, Fernando meets Mario at a local cafe. Over coffee, Fernando explains his bold plan to rob the Bank of Rio by tunneling through the sewer. At first, Mario dismisses the idea. It sounds too risky and complicated, but Fernando knows how to appeal to him. He talks about the dream of pulling off one final life-changing heist, a retirement job that would allow Mario to leave crime behind forever. This vision slowly catches Mario's interest.
Un solo robo, bien grande.
To convince him further, Fernando takes Mario to the actual location near the bank. They walk to a manhole where Fernando lowers a measuring tape into the sewer to show how close the tunnels are to the bank. Curious, they both climb down to see for themselves. After measuring and calculating, Fernando confidently announces they are just 18 meters away from a fortune. With the plan taking shape, Fernando, Mario, and Debosa meet to discuss the next steps. Their goal is clear: dig a tunnel from the sewer directly into the bank. However, they soon face a major problem. Every room in the bank is equipped with motion sensors, but Fernando explains a clever solution. The sensors detect changes in temperature, not movement. To beat this system, he has designed special suits made from sleeping bag material that block body heat, allowing them to move undetected.
Ahora necesitamos un plano del banco.
However, while this solves the sensor problem, a bigger challenge remains. None of them know how to open the bank's vault. Determined, they decide to gather more information. The next day, Fernando and Sebastian start scouting the bank area. They take photos of the back alley and parking lot, then pretending to open a new account, they enter the bank. As Sebastian chats with employees to distract them, Fernando secretly photographs the inside of the bank, focusing on its layout and security. However, their cover is soon blown. The bank's security grows suspicious and stops Fernando for questioning. They take him to the basement and search his belongings. However, this was exactly what Fernando had planned. His real goal was not to take photos, but to use the questioning as a chance to observe the vault area up close. To stay safe, he had already removed the camera's memory card, ensuring they found no evidence. Eventually, security lets Fernando go, unaware that he got the information he wanted. Later, Fernando and Sebastian use their observations to draw a detailed floor plan of the bank. This helps them refine their strategy. They decide to target a small utility room, a weaker spot in the bank's security, as their entry point. To measure the exact distance from the manhole to the bank, Fernando uses a clever method. He makes Dabauza ride a bicycle along the path, counting how many times the wheel turns. Using this simple trick, he calculates the precise distance and direction they need to dig. Before long, a positive finding lifts their spirits. Fernando learns from Mario that the money deposited in the bank is insured. This means no one would ever lose their savings should the robbery push through. Insurance companies would pay out. With this fact, they clear their conscience and solidify their determination. That night at midnight, Fernando and crew scale down into the sewers. With tools in hand, they begin the backbreaking work of excavating the tunnel which could change their lives. Realizing they will need a reliable getaway driver, they employ Alberto, leaving him with the all-critical assignment of manning their getaway car. But another issue arises just as quickly. There are 400 safety deposit boxes at the bank, and they have no clue how to open them all in a hurry. It would take them some 7 hours with a blowtorch, too long to avoid detection. To counteract this, Fernando comes up with a plan. He suggests that Mario rent an ATM safety deposit box in a different branch of the same bank. That way, they could take a close look at the mechanism of the lock. The next day, Mario visits yet another outlet, this time pretending to be a customer renting a box. As any ordinary customer, he normalizes and checks the lock for any vulnerable spot they can use to break in during the actual heist. In a parallel subplot, meanwhile, Mario and one of his trusted cohorts plan to commandeer a van that will serve as their escape vehicle. Their scheme is simple enough, but events take a perilous turn soon. Shortly after the robbery, they are cornered by police officers. Suspense strikes them hard because they are afraid that they might be arrested at that moment, but salvation arrives when disaster is about to occur. Alberto comes with his wife. Together, they approach the police slowly, playing as if they know Mario and his friend. They cover for the couple, telling the officers a believable story that blunts suspicion. Thanks to their fast thinking and clear articulation, the police decide not to pursue it. The would-be crisis dissipates, allowing Mario and his partner to escape trouble temporarily. Meanwhile, deep beneath the earth, the work of the group is relentless. The tunnel in which they've been digging, one that will lead them into the bank directly, is almost complete. But just when they are getting along fine, disaster strikes. Their heavy-duty drill cracks and shatters. This is a possible disaster. But Fernando, the eternal optimist, brushes the disaster aside. With cheeriness, he just matter-of-factly states that they can just go out and purchase an exact drill and go about business as usual. Mario is not so calm about it. He visibly bristles with rage, his annoyance boiling up to the surface. Having invested so much of his money, time, and effort into this enterprise, this latest setback wears thin on his patience. That evening later, a gentler and more intimate moment comes. Fernando spends the evening with his girlfriend under an open sky. Essentially, when individuals gaze at the stars, they are essentially looking back in time into the past, at light from stars that may no longer exist. This poetic concept evokes a response within Fernando. An inspiration flash comes to him, connecting this thought with their current situation. It is like a revelation, a flash of perception that could turn everything around. Without loss of time, Fernando rushes to Mario's house to reveal his new insight. He is lively with his presentation as he puts forward his suggestions. He portrays the bank's security as designed to keep out two forms of attack: daytime robberies on the front entrance and surreptitious tunnel break-ins late at night. The defenses are never on their lookout for both of these on the same visit. Fernando's fresh, brazen plan is to flip their original design on its head. Instead of breaking in under the cover of night, they would break into the bank during the day, when the vault is open already. That way, they can avoid the complicated rigmarole of dynamiting the vault and the motion detectors as well. They'd create a fake, noisy, flamboyant robbery at the front, diverting law enforcement into believing it's a typical hostage situation. Meanwhile, their true escape through the underground tunnel goes unnoticed.
Entramos al banco cuando está abierto al público.
Mario hears attentively. He appreciates the smartness of merging both strategies and wholeheartedly supports this new approach. The long-awaited day of the heist has finally come. Each member of the team prepares himself with great prudence. They apply a thin layer of adhesive glue on their fingers so that they don't leave fingerprints anywhere. All of them have been assigned something to do. Sebastian is at the entrance of the sewer tunnel, ready to play his part in the operation. Fernando, Mario, De Bosa, and Alberto enter the bank, wearing their disguises and blend with the crowd. Once they're in, they all put on their masks and get to work. Mario and De Bosa head up to take the first floor, and Fernando and Alberto stay down on the ground floor. They pull out the guns and tell everyone in there to go face down, completely taking over the bank. From a nearby control room, a security guard monitors the activity on CCTV monitors. He quickly calls the police and informs them of a continuing robbery. Unbeknownst to the police, however, Fernando also monitors police radio communications with his walkie-talkie. This allows him to be one step ahead regarding the police, carefully monitoring their activities and scheming. At the bank, Mario orders the cashier to start filling their bags with all the cash they have. Simultaneously, Alberto dashes towards the car entrance, locking the gate quickly to seal their perimeter and prevent any surprise intrusions. True to expectations, the police make a prompt entrance, encircling the bank. To take things further and keep the authorities occupied, Fernando also takes one of the bank employees hostage, vowing to hurt the individual if the police try to storm the bank. Having the external forces completely occupied, Fernando gives his team the signal that phase 1 of their mission is successful. On cue, Mario bursts into the CCTV room. He threatens a female worker with a gun, taking her hostage and forcing the security guard to surrender. Mario steals the guard's gun clip and phone, making his ability to fight back or call the police useless. After he's disabled the guard, Mario releases him outside the bank, making sure the police know this is a run-of-the-mill robbery situation. The crew then continues methodically down the bank, disabling each security camera one by one. Fernando, as always, approaches a compact, unassuming utility space near the vault. There, with utmost caution, he shifts an enormous, heavy cabinet aside, revealing a thin wall behind. Behind this wall, patiently waiting in the sewer passageway, stands Sebastian. After the breach is finished, Fernando and Sebastian step out of the building for a short while to grab specialized gear from their van. They come back with a strong, bespoke machine that was made just to open the bank vault within seconds. In a flashback, it is shown how Sebastian, employing the knowledge of a civil engineer, had cleverly built a cannon-like device. This device is capable of destroying a vault's locking mechanism in 7 seconds, something which has been done through sheer hard work and urgency. As preparations continue, the teams sync their watches to coordinate each of them for the next phase. Fernando and Sebastian begin the slow operation of unlocking each of the safety deposit boxes separately, carefully working through each of them to collect cash, gold bricks, and other valuable objects kept by bank clients. Outside the bank, tension intensifies. Police officers, news reporters, anxious family members of the hostages, and spectators congregate in great numbers.
Yo voy a 4, señor. Tienen armas cortas, un arma larga.
The police captain intervenes, interrogating the released security guard to extract any helpful information regarding the identities, demands, and actions of the robbers. Within, pressure increases further. Whilst Fernando and Sebastian continue to unpack boxes, they suddenly hear threatening noises above them. Police have begun climbing onto the bank's rooftop in a bid to achieve a tactical advantage. At this time of crisis, Mario's confiscated phone rings, a call from the captain of police. A flashback reveals that Fernando had envisioned such a development. He had instructed Mario in negotiation, preparing him for heated exchanges with police personnel. Now, the training pays off. Mario handles the call calmly in command.
Sácame a toda la gente que está en el techo. No quiero ver un...
He demands all police staff be summoned right away from the rooftop, threatening harm to the hostages if his orders are not obeyed. Despite his reluctance, the police captain complies, pulling the officers back from the rooftop. He secretly sends 2 specially trained snipers to a building across from where they were, hiding them for a potential intervention at a later time. As the conversation continues, the captain asks about Mario's group's requirements. To proceed with their scripted procedure, Mario is adamant on speaking directly with the district attorney. The captain is agreeable, but indicates that he requires approximately 1 hour in order to organize this requirement. All the while, meanwhile, Fernando and Sebastian keep working from the inside, their loot mounting with every safe deposit box they are able to breach. Bags are stuffed with cash, gold, and handy personal pieces of stuff. The robbery is proceeding smoothly, but time is running out. Outside, the police weigh their limited options. Their only viable entry points are the front entrance and the parking lot, both of which are firmly guarded by the robbers. To boot, they have no explicit information as to the whereabouts of the hostages, so any forced entry is extremely risky. Outside, it all appears to be a typical armed robbery. The police captain calls Mario again after some time, attempting to get him to surrender. He presents the argument that because no hostage was harmed, they could be given a lesser sentence if they surrender now. He even offers to get them legal representation so that they can negotiate a favorable deal. Mario listens intently but does not lose his cool. He makes a calm announcement that he will need to consult with his team before reaching any conclusions. At the same time, the dramatic action keeps unfolding outside the bank, while Fernando and Sebastian concentrate on their mission deep inside. With stunning velocity and precision, they keep opening up more safety deposit boxes. Every locker pulls in more cash, jewelry, and other valuables, which they collect with care. They move through the rabble like a finely tuned machine, completely in their own comfort zone. Outside, the police officers wait helplessly, frustrated at their inability to respond. Journalists provide live reports, and onlookers gather, awaiting any word. The police captain lingers nearby, but with little to report, he is able to do little more than wait. In this midst of a high-pressure setting, a surprising moment of levity emerges suddenly to break the tension. The mobile phone of a female elderly hostage rings loudly, drawing everyone's attention. To everyone's surprise, the call is a birthday greeting. Today happens to be the woman's birthday. This little, though poignant, discovery adds a humanizing moment to the otherwise bleak situation. Catching the moment to break the tension, Mario approaches the older woman.
Qué lindo. ¿Cómo se llama usted?
Susana.
With a wide grin, he shoots her a genuine happy birthday. Wanting to make the experience even more special, Deboza, never one to display his soft side, gently removes a piece of chocolate from another hostage and offers it to the birthday woman. Though a small act, this is a symbolic birthday gift and grants an instance of humanity amidst terror and fear.
Y ahora hay un regalo nuestro, Susi.
From their hidden vantage points, the police snipers see this surprise display of compassion through their scopes. They immediately relay this news back to the police captain. The captain, having received this surprise news, is stumped. Things become even more confusing when Mario decides to free the elderly woman from imprisonment. He gives this as a birthday present, further adding to the conflicting messages being sent to the police. Subsequently, Mario leans against a chair directly in front of the window with a nonchalant attitude, speaking to the captain directly, who so happens to be standing guard outside. Their conversation turns personal in tone as Mario reveals his history. He gives the impression that he spent the last 15 years of his life in jail for previous crimes. Mario then gives his ultimatum. He will only give up if the district attorney himself assures him of a lighter sentence in prison. Observing this dialogue very closely, the captain senses that perhaps Mario is feeling out the waters. The captain wonders if Mario is going out of his way to provoke the police into acting violently. Careful not to provoke an escalation of the crisis, the captain has his snipers stand down quietly, not wishing to fall into a potential trap. Soon after, the DA arrives, ready to negotiate.
Hola. Walter, estoy acá con el fiscal. Te lo paso.
But when the DA attempts to have a serious dialogue, he is treated with disrespect. Mario spews out a string of insults, belittling the DA in public. Rather than productive dialogue, Mario has a quick one, asking for speaking to his attorney. Upon being requested for the attorney's phone number, Mario cleverly offers the number of one of the hostages. In a clever plot twist, Mario then impersonates his own attorney, altering his voice and having a false conversation with the police. This act successfully purchases the team valuable time to proceed with their robbery uninterrupted. With their plan coming to its climactic stage, Mario takes all the hostages and relocates them to the first floor. In the process, he makes sure that they are safely kept out of reach within the vault section, where Fernando and the rest are busy in transferring their loot via the tunnel beneath the bank. Now that most of the valuables have been shifted, Mario deliberately turns off the mobile phone he had previously taken away. This sudden silence incites suspicion among the police, especially the captain, to suspect that the robbers have a second exit plan in their sleeves. His suspicions are later confirmed when he notices something strange near the bank, an irregularly fitting manhole cover. Making his deductions, the captain soon realizes that the gang is escaping through the city's sewer system. Inside the tunnel, Fernando's gang is already carrying out the second step of their plan. They have all loaded their stolen goods onto small inflatable boats, preparing to make a speedy getaway along the underground sewer tunnels. Flashback reveals that Fernando had anticipated just this scenario occurring. To stay one step ahead of the police, the gang had built an improvised dam inside the sewer. They planned to construct this dam to increase the water level so that they could travel swiftly and silently in motorboats, fleeing in the opposite direction from where the police would anticipate. Back at the bank, the captain and his team eventually locate the hidden tunnel entrance. However, as they attempt to proceed, they are met with yet another obstacle. A bomb blocks their path. Tension skyrockets as the officers approach the device with extreme caution. But upon closer inspection, they realize the bomb is fake, just like the gang's weapons. It is a decoy, cleverly designed to slow down their pursuit. Unfortunately for the authorities, by the time they uncover this deception, it is already too late. Fernando and his team have successfully made their escape, disappearing into the labyrinth of the city's underground system. Once safely away, the gang wastes no time in covering their tracks. They destroy all evidence, including tools, equipment, and anything that could link them to the crime. Later, they regroup at Alberto's house. In a moment of triumph, they divide the stolen loot equally, celebrating the success of their daring heist. Months go by, and the gang members enjoy their newfound wealth. They indulge in luxury, living lives filled with comfort and extravagance. However, their lucky streak comes to an abrupt end. Alberto's wife, furious after catching him cheating on her, decides to betray him. In a fit of anger, she reports Alberto to the police, exposing the entire operation.
¿Nombre?
Tío de mi marido.
¿Cómo el que robó el banco?
Sí.
Soon, her betrayal triggers a domino effect. One by one, the gang members are tracked down and arrested by law enforcement. The group that once seemed untouchable finds itself behind bars once again. Even Mario, who was with his daughter, was arrested in an embarrassing way. The story then fast-forwards 7 months into the future. Fernando, having served a relatively short sentence, walks out of prison. Waiting for him outside is Mario, comfortably seated in a luxurious car. Their meeting symbolizes a bittersweet victory. Though they were caught, their punishment was minor compared to the scale of their crime. Soon it's revealed that Fernando had been meticulous in planning every detail of the heist, including their eventual arrest. By insisting that the team use toy guns and avoid physical violence, he ensured that they would face minimal charges if caught. This clever foresight significantly reduced their prison sentences. Even more remarkably, despite the arrests, the gang manages to keep a large portion of their stolen fortune. A small price to pay for such a bold and well-executed crime.